One should never trust a woman who tells one her real age, a woman who would tell one that, would tell one anything. Everything in the world is about sex, except sex. Sex is about power. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. Women are meant to be loved, not to be understood. To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. I don't want to go to heaven. None of my friends are there. Crying is for plain women. Pretty women go shopping. With freedom, flowers, books, and the moon, who could not be perfectly happy? Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. I am so clever that sometimes I don't understand a single word of what I am saying. We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. It is what you read when you don't have to that determines what you will be when you can't help it. Death must be so beautiful, to lie in the soft brown earth with the grasses waving above one's head and listen to silence, to have no yesterday and no tomorrow, to forget time, to forgive life, to be at peace. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. To define is to limit. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. The only way to get rid of temptation is to yield to it. There is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. Quotation is a serviceable substitute for wit. Who, being loved, is poor? Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them. I think God, in creating man, somewhat overestimated his ability. Man is least himself when he talks in his own person. Give him a mask, and he will tell you the truth. You don't love someone for their looks, or their clothes, or for their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. A thing is not necessarily true because a man dies for it. Experience is merely the name men gave to their mistakes. You will always be fond of me. I represent to you all the sins you never had the courage to commit. A good friend will always stab you in the front. Most people are other people. Their thoughts are someone else's opinions, their lives a mimicry, their passions a quotation. Never love anyone who treats you like you're ordinary. You can never be overdressed or overeducated. Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. After a good dinner, one can forgive anybody, even one's own relations. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people we personally dislike. Life is far too important a thing ever to talk seriously about. I like men who have a future and women who have a past. We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities. Some things are more precious because they don't last long. I choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their good intellects. Every woman is a rebel. Only dull people are brilliant at breakfast. Humanity takes itself too seriously. It is the world's original sin. If the caveman had known how to laugh, history would have been different. To get back my youth, I would do anything in the world, except take exercise, get up early, or be respectable. A bore is someone who deprives you of solitude without providing you with company. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul. How can a woman be expected to be happy with a man who insists on treating her as if she were a perfectly normal human being? Everything in moderation, including moderation. If you are not long, I will wait for you all my life. This suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between. An idea that is not dangerous is unworthy of being called an idea at all. I may not agree with you, but I will defend to the death your right to make an ass of yourself. There is no sin except stupidity. Men always want to be a woman's first love. That is their clumsy vanity. We women have a more subtle instinct about these things. What like is to be a man's last romance. I always pass on good advice. It is the only thing to do with it. It is never of any use to oneself. Women have a much better time than men in this world. There are far more things forbidden to them. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. It takes great deal of courage to see the world in all its tainted glory, and still to love it. You must have a cigarette. A cigarette is the perfect type of a perfect pleasure. It is exquisite, and it leaves one unsatisfied. What more can one want? Hear no evil, speak no evil, and you won't be invited to cocktail parties. I am tired of myself tonight. I should like to be somebody else. The mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death. A man can be happy with any woman as long as he does not love her. One should always be in love. That's the reason one should never marry. I knew nothing but shadows and I thought them to be real. He has no enemies, but is intensely disliked by his friends. Keep love in your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. The consciousness of loving and being loved brings a warmth and a richness to life that nothing else can bring. Music makes one feel so romantic, At least it always gets on one's nerves, which is the same thing nowadays. Men marry because they are tired, women because they are curious. Both are disappointed. The most terrible thing about it is not that it breaks one's heart, hearts are made to be broken, but that it turns one's heart to stone. I like persons better than principles, and I like persons with no principles better than anything else in the world. Only the shallow know themselves. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. I love acting. It is so much more real than life. You like everyone, that is to say, you are indifferent to everyone. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. She is very clever, too clever for a woman. She lacks the indefinable charm of weakness. We women, as someone says, love with our ears, just as you men love with your eyes, if you ever love at all. Everything popular is wrong. No man is rich enough to buy back his past. Life has been your art. You have set yourself to music. Your days are your sonnets. She behaves as if she was beautiful. Most American women do. It is the secret of their charm. I hate people who are not serious about meals. It is so shallow of them. It is only shallow people who do not judge by appearances. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. When the gods wish to punish us, they answer our prayers. The reason we all like to think so well of others is that we are all afraid for ourselves. The basis of optimism is sheer terror. Between men and women there is no friendship possible. There is passion, enmity, worship, love, but no friendship. When a woman marries again, it is because she detested her first husband. When a man marries again, it is because he adored his first wife. Women try their luck, men risk theirs. A man who does not think for himself does not think at all. Friendship is far more tragic than love. It lasts longer. One should always play fairly when one has the winning cards. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. Illusion is the first of all pleasures. Some things are too important to be taken seriously. I don't like compliments, and I don't see why a man should think he is pleasing a woman enormously when he says to her a whole heap of things that he doesn't mean. The one charm about the past is that it is the past. Deceiving others, that is what the world calls a romance. One has a right to judge a man by the effect he has over his friends. I love to talk about nothing. It's the only thing I know anything about. After the first glass, you see things as you wish they were. After the second, you see things as they are not. Finally, you see things as they really are, and that is the most horrible thing in the world. There is always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has ceased to love. It takes great courage to see the world in all its tainted glory and still to love it, and even more courage to see it in the one you love. I have no objection to anyone's sex life as long as they don't practice it in the street and frighten the horses. Life is not complex. We are complex. Life is simple, and the simple thing is the right thing. Man is many things, but he is not rational. Popularity is the one insult I have never suffered. Nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. To be natural is such a very difficult pose to keep up. It is the stupid and the ugly who have the best of it in this world. Sin is a thing that writes itself across a man's face. It cannot be concealed. I was working on the proof of one of my poems all the morning and took out a comma. In the afternoon, I put it back again. There was so much in you that charmed me that I felt I must tell you something about yourself. I thought how tragic it would be if you were wasted. Memory is the diary we all carry about with us. Conformity is the last refuge of the unimaginative. Experience is one thing you can't get for nothing. People are very fond of giving away what they need most themselves. It is what I call the depth of generosity. The only people I would care to be with now are artists and people who have suffered, those who know what beauty is and those who know what sorrow is. Nobody else interests me. There is no such thing as a good influence, because to influence a person is to give him one's own soul. He does not think his natural thoughts or burn with his natural passions. His virtues are not real to him. His sins, if there are such things as sins, are borrowed. He becomes an echo of someone else's music, an actor of a part that has not been written for him. Every woman is a rebel and usually in wild revolt against herself. You know more than you think you know, just as you know less than you want to know. A gentleman is one who never hurts anyone's feelings unintentionally. I see when men love women, they give them but a little of their lives, but women when they love give everything. When we are happy, we are always good, but when we are good, we are not always happy. I'll bet you anything you like that half an hour after they have met, they will be calling each other sister. Women only do that when they have called each other a lot of other things first. A kiss may ruin a human life. The difference between literature and journalism is that journalism is unreadable and literature is not read. To be popular, one must be a mediocrity. Women love us for our defects. If we have enough of them, they will forgive us everything, even our intellects. Each of us has heaven and hell in him. I beg your pardon, I didn't recognize you. I've changed a lot. If you don't get everything you want, think of the things you don't get that you don't want. One should always be a little improbable. I have learned this. It is not what one does that is wrong, but what one becomes as a consequence of it. There are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. Each man kills the thing he loves. Art is the most intense mode of individualism that the world has known. For one moment our lives met, our souls touched.